Hello everyone. I'm delighted to welcome all our book loving viewers to the 9th episode of Granth Yatra. I know you all love to read and have read so many wonderful books. But have you ever read an old style book? The kind of book that used to come as loose sheets tied up neatly in a cloth? Before the art of printing and book publishing became commonplace, many households possessed such books. In Marathi, such a book is called Pothi. In my childhood, we had 3 or 4 such pothis at home, and one of them was a text called Hari Vijay. That's the book we are going to get acquainted with today. In the first 8 episodes of Granth Yatra, we looked at literature created by saints of the Bhakti cult. Hari Vijay describes the life of Lord Krishna, who was worshipped by these saints. This book was written by poet Sridhar Swami Nazrekar in 1702. Sridhar was born during the reign of King Shivaji at a place called Nazare in Solapur district of Maharashtra. He inherited the knowledge of yoga and Vedanta that was handed down through generations in his family. His father Brahmananda was a clerk and a master of Vedanta. Later, his family shifted to Pandharpur, where Sridhar devoted himself to narration of stories from the Puranas and composition of poetry. His captivating narrative style attracted large crowds to the various temples in the town where he held these discourses. His long narrative poems Hari Vijay, Ram Vijay, Pandav Pratap, Jaimini Ashwamedh and Shivalilamrut, based on the epics of Ramayana, Mahabharata and the Puranas, became very popular. He had skillfully caught the pulse of the common man's taste and narrated the stories from Sanskrit texts in the easy to understand, commonly spoken language with great flair. In fact, several of his readers were not even aware that these epic tales had been originally written in Sanskrit long ago. For them, Sridhar's Ram Vijay was the Ramayana, his Pandav Pratap was the Mahabharata, and his Hari Vijay was the Bhagavad. These texts were worshipped by generations of readers. Reading sessions were arranged for the masses during the auspicious months of Shravana or when there was a 13th month in a year according to the lunar calendar. The main reason for their popularity was Sridhar's engaging narrative style. For writing Hari Vijay, Sridhar took the reference of the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Puran and the text of Harivansh. He created wonderful characters that command the reverence from the readers. Hari, the protagonist of the book, is supreme, extraordinary, and a larger than life figure. Even when describing the deeds in his human incarnation, Sridhar never forgets that he is a god or the complete avatar of Lord Vishnu. That makes his life story as an ideal worthy of being emulated by the common man. In contrast, the villains of the story such as Kans, Jarasandh, Rukmi or Shishupal are completely evil. Sridhar paints them entirely in dark shades. The vices are so extreme that Sridhar believes it is not possible for them to be born to good human beings. So he shows the birth of Kans as a result of King Ugrasena's queen being raped by a demon and Kalayavan as the son of sage Garg through an alien woman. He portrays all associates of Krishna as incarnations of various gods. The verses describing their daily lives turn into guiding principles for the devotee. For example, when baby Krishna escapes unhurt after defeating Putana and the demon Shakata, his father Nand is worried by the frequent catastrophes he has had to face. He requests Krishna's mother Yashoda not to leave him alone even for a moment. आसनी शयनी भोजनी विसंबू नको चक्रपाणी जागृती सुषुप्ती स्वप्नी विसरू नको हरिते. Do not stay away from Krishna whether you are sitting, sleeping or eating. Whether you are awake, in deep sleep or dreaming, always be aware of Hari, he says. Although these lines are addressed to Yashoda, they provide a guidance to the devotee that they should always remember God even when engaged in their daily life. When describing the divine love between Radha and Krishna, the poet says, तो राधिका ओसरीवरी मंथनासी आरंभ करी तो नेत्री देखिला श्रीहरी जलद वर्ण साजिरा. तिकडे वेधले राधेचे नयन विसरली गोरस मंथन, रित्या डेऱ्यात रवी घालून, घुसळी पूर्ण निज छंदे. Radhika is preparing to churn the buttermilk when she spots Krishna. She is so enamored by him that she begins to churn an empty pot. The Lord has captivated her heart and she is unaware of her body. Her mind has united with the supreme bliss of the Brahman. She has realized her true self. She has lost sense of the day and night. Just as salt dissolves in water, she is united with Krishna and her heart is overflowing with joy. Sridhar is an expert at picturesque descriptions. He gets so absorbed in describing the details of every event that the readers can visualize those events unfolding before their very eyes. See how he describes a dancing Ganesha in the first chapter. His one tusk is shining like a full moon. It resembles a brilliant lightning bolt. He carries weapons, a broken tusk, and a lotus in his 8 hands. Lord Sadashiv is very pleased to watch him dance, and all gods are playing cymbals. The music and the dance are so captivating that the gods have even forgotten to blink their eyes. When describing the Ras in Vrindavan, he says, Sharad Kala Paramasundara, Kumudininvara Runazunati Brahmara, येत सुगंध मलय समीर सकळ तरुवर फुल्ले हो. जैसा विद्युल्लता भार गगनी, तैशा तळपती दिव्य कामिनी, तेथीच्या दिव्य सुवासे करुनी दाही दिशा दाटल्या. It is the pleasant time of autumn and the bees are hovering over the flowers. A fragrant breeze is flowing from the Malay mountains and all the trees are flowering. The maidens are glowing like an array of lightning and the atmosphere is laden with fragrance. And each maiden feels that the Lord is with her, for there is no end to his multiple images. When describing Krishna and Balram as they march towards the palace of Kans, he says, the two fighters resembled the gods of death, for they looked as powerful as the Meru and Mandar mountains. Another specialty of Sridhar's narrative style is that he doesn't write like a neutral commentator observing from a distance. The conversations of the characters in any event are so perfect that it seems as if he was a witness to the event. He enjoys describing the repartee between Krishna and the maidens of Gokul, the gopis pleading with Akrur not to take Krishna away from them, or even the verbal fights between the forces of the Magadh kingdom and the Yadavas. While describing the war scenes, his language acquires a brave sheen. Describing Jarasandha's attack on Mathura, he says, धडकला वाद्यांचा कल्लोळ, प्रतिध्वनीने गाजले निराळ, भयभीत ब्रह्मगोळ, चालिले दळ मगधाचे. The war bugles are sounding and the echo fills the air. Even the realm of the gods is frightened as the Magad army marches on. And then he goes on to describe Balaram's fighting skills. मुसळ आणि नांगर, हाती घेऊनी बळीभद्र, रथाखाली उडी सत्वर घालुनिया धाविन्नला. Holding the mortar and the plow in his hands, Balram jumps down from his chariot and attacks. He captures the brave fighters with his plow and pounds them with the mortar. At a time when women were mostly confined to their homes, he makes the character of Devaki speak the language of a brave fighter. When she is pregnant for the 7th time, her home is filled with a glow. She says to her husband Vasudev, I have been pregnant 6 times before, but I am dismayed by the condition this time. I feel I can lift the earth in my arms, or support the sky, or contain the 7 seas at the tip of my nail. I will myself destroy the army of Kans with a plow and mortar, or destroy the demons. And when Lord Hari himself resides in her womb, she says, भुजा पिटोनी बोले वचन, कंसास मारीना आपटोन, मुष्टिक चाणुरांचा प्राण क्षणमात्रे घेईन मी. I'll smash Kamsa on the floor and kill the demons Mushtik and Chanur within minutes. I'll destroy the demons and relieve the earth and break away from the prison. Later, when Krishna sets out to fight Narakasur, Satyabhama accompanies him and participates in the war. तो सत्यभामा म्हणे ते अवसरी, मजपाशी धनुष्य द्या पूतनारी, मी युद्ध करीन क्षणभरी नरकासुराशी आजीपाई. On that occasion, Satyabhama asked for a bow and arrow and said, I'll fight with this Narakasur today. She pulled the bowstring to her ear and showered the arrows one after another, and they wondered who was this brave woman fighting on the warfield, hitting the enemy target with great speed. It is notable that Sridhar described such bravery in women well before the advent of actual women fighters such as the Queen of Jhansi or Ahilyabai. Let us hear from Professor Lalita Miraskar, a scholar on Sridhar's literature, how he describes the emotions and feelings of his characters.
हरिविजय हा पंडित कवी श्रीधराचा पहिला ग्रंथ. श्रीकृष्णाच्या जीवनावरील त्यातील वेधक अशा प्रसंगांचं चित्रण करणारा हा ग्रंथ आहे. या आख्यान काव्यामध्ये श्रीधर त्याच्यामधील पात्रांचं जेव्हा त्या पात्रांच्या भावनांचं जेव्हा वर्णन करतात त्यामागे एक अचूक मनोविश्लेषण आढळते आणि हे श्रीधराचं खास वैशिष्ट्य आहे. जसं देवकीच्या 8व्या पुत्राचा धसका घेतलेल्या कंसाला जिकडे तिकडे आपला वैरीच दिसतो. देवकी उदरीचा 8वा निज ध्यास बसला कंस भावा, जनी वनी आघवा 8वा 8वा आठवत. जागृती सुषुप्ती स्वप्नी 8वा दिसे ध्यानी मनी, 8वा दिसे भोजनी 8वा शयनी सोडी. भूमी दिसे 8व्या ऐसी, 8वा दिसे आकाशी, 8व्याने व्यापिले त्यासी दिवसानिशी 8वा. तसेच कृष्ण मथुरेला निघून गेल्यानंतर गोकुळेच्या गोपी त्याच्या आठवणींमध्ये रमून कशा नित्यकर्म करत होत्या याचं श्रीधर फार सुंदर वर्णन करतात. मथुरेच्या बाजारात दूध दही विकायला गेल्यावर सुद्धा त्यांना सतत कृष्णाचीच आठवण येत असते. त्यामुळे त्या म्हणतात, मथुरेच्या चौहटा बैसती श्रीधर वर्णन करतात. अंतरी आठवणी यदुपती, दही दुग्ध घ्या म्हणो विसरती, सुखासी येती हरिनाम. दुग्ध घ्या म्हणावे जो या बोला, तो पूर्वी शक्रे दुग्धाभिषेक केला, तैसाची हृदयी आठवता सावळा, गोविंद सकळा घ्या हो म्हणती. दावे बांधिले उदरी जया, म्हणून दामोदर नामतया, ते ध्यान गोपी आठवनिया, दामोदर घ्या हो म्हणती. तो मथुरेच्या गोरंटी, ज्यांची केवळ प्रपंच दृष्टी, म्हणती कोठे गे जगजेठी, कायशा गोष्टी बोलत. आणि त्यांचं वचन खोटं ठरू नये म्हणूनच की काय, कृष्ण त्यांच्या घटांमध्ये दिसू लागतो. एक सुवर्ण नाना अलंकार, एक सागर तरंग अपार, बहुत मंदिरे एक अंबर, तैसा यदुवीर सर्व घटी. जे जे भक्त बोलती, ते ते यथार्थ करी श्रीपती, सकळ गोपींच्या घटाप्रती, दिसती मूर्ती हरीची. श्रीधराचे मनोविश्लेषणाचे सामर्थ्य किती विलक्षण होतं आणि त्यामुळे त्याची व्यक्ती चित्रणे कशी स्वाभाविक आणि उत्कट होऊ शकली याचं हे अगदी बोलकं उदाहरण आहे. देवकी, वसुदेव, नंद, यशोदा, बळीभद्र, राधा, रुक्मिणी, रुक्मी, नंद, यशोदा, सत्यभामा इत्यादी सगळीच व्यक्तिचित्र अशीच बहारदार झालेली आहे. आणि म्हणूनच व्युत्पन्न पंडितांपासून ते सामान्य शेतकऱ्यांपर्यंत आणि आधुनिक सुशिक्षितांपासून ते अशिक्षितांपर्यंत सर्व वर्गात श्रीधराचे वाङ्मय खूप लोकप्रिय झालेलं आहे. त्याला धार्मिक ग्रंथाची प्रतिष्ठा लाभलेली आहे. आणि हे केवळ महाराष्ट्रापुरते सीमित राहिलेले नाही. त्यांच्या ग्रंथाचे अनेक भारतीय भाषांमध्ये भाषांतर झालेले आहे आणि त्या प्रांतातही श्रीधरांचे ग्रंथ मराठी इतकेच लोकप्रिय झाले.
Sridhar devotes each chapter in Harivijay to one event in Krishna's life. He describes events like establishment of the city of Dwarka, elopement with Rukmini, Krishna being accused of stealing the Syamantak gem, wedding with Satyabhama, defeat of Narkasur, Pradyumna's birth, kidnapping and reunion with him, the tale of Usha and Anirudh, war with Banasur, the meeting with Sudama and many more. The reader is regaled with wonderful descriptions of these events, and Lord Krishna's charming personality emerges in the reader's mind through these descriptions. It creates a deep impression of his divine nature. Even those who meet their end at the hands of Krishna attain liberation. On Shishupal's death, the poet says, बाळ सूर्यासारखे तेज अद्भुत, ज्योती श्री कृष्ण हृदयी प्रवेशत, जैसे लवण जळी विरत की गगनात नाद जैसा. A light resembling the rising sun rose from his body and merged with Krishna's heart, just as salt dissolves in water or the sound dissipates in the sky. At the same time, the descriptions of Krishna's ordinary life also appeal to the reader's heart. Once, when sage Narad visits Lord Krishna, he witnesses him in the home of each of his wives at the same time. एके घरी करीत कन्यादान, कोठे करीत पुत्राचे लग्न, कोठे सुना माहेरा पाठवून, लेकी आणीत गोपाळ. At one place, he is getting his daughter married. At another, he is saying goodbye to his daughter-in-law. At another place, he is doing commentary on religious texts, while at another, he is singing and dancing. At yet another place, he is listening to a discourse, while at yet another, he is teaching his children. Characters such as Krishna, who showers love on his devotees, pleases the people around him, destroys the evil, and shines with bravery on the battlefield. Rukmini, who is none other than the primordial divine energy, the mighty hero Balibhadra, who loves Krishna unconditionally, as also Narad, who loves to initiate fights but has good intentions at heart, are skillfully introduced to the readers. In the concluding chapter, Krishna is described visiting the holy land of Kurukshetra on the occasion of an eclipse. He is accompanied by his entire family. He sends a message to the residents of Gokul about his visit, and Nand, Yashoda, and all his loved ones from Gokul arrive to meet with him. Sridhar concludes his text by describing this joyful event. नंद यशोदेचे पूजन आपण करीत श्रीकृष्ण, बहुत अलंकार धन नंद यशोदेसी समर्पिले. Krishna honors Nand and Yashoda and showers them with gifts. Now he has fulfilled all his duties in life. He has destroyed all demons. He has liberated several kings and thousands of women from the atrocities of Jarasandha and Narkasur. He has established the beautiful city of Dwarka, and all his familial obligations have been fulfilled. He would no longer wield a weapon. The text ends by describing the heartwarming scene of the coming together of all his queens, children, grandchildren, both sets of parents, and the cowherds and maidens of Gokul. To read this book is like tasting honey. Even if you have had a bad day, reading a chapter of Hari Vijay will bring joy to your heart. Do tell us if you liked being introduced to this book. We are waiting for your comments on the Facebook page and YouTube channel of ASMT. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. We'll of course see you all next Friday. Until then, keep reading.